Good morning. It's Tuesday, February 17th. Here's what we're working on. A shooting in Rhode Island has left 3 people dead.
Federal government is facing mounting pressure to support Cuba amid fuel shortages.
And the Brantford Bulldogs have picked up their 4th win in a row. Good morning and happy Tuesday. Thank you so much for joining us today. I guess everyone's getting back into routines now that they had their family day Monday.
Yep.
But speaking of routines, we're going to be getting back into ours because Annette is back tomorrow.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
This is my last day on the desk, but it's been so much fun.
It has been.
It has been
Yes.
fun. It's gone by fast. It's
I know.
Yes, yeah.
But just think how Annette feels, how fast it's gone by.
Oh, I know.
It's like, what? I got to go back to work tomorrow? Oh, yeah, well. It's been nice having you here. Lovely.
Oh, thank you.
So we've got some messy weather on tap. Oh, dear. This is not going to be fun. We had 3 statements in effect for Hamilton. Now they've dropped 1 to 2. We have a fog warning in effect. It's very foggy out this morning. And we also have what we really don't want, which is a freezing rain warning in effect. That probably will start overnight tonight into the day tomorrow. We could get 10 to 15 millimeters of rain in and of itself tomorrow. So heavy downpours, but there is that chance of freezing rain, and there's that word accretion, which is the buildup of, yes, that's a word, accretion, which is the buildup of ice on surfaces. So that could happen for the day tomorrow as well. But it's going to be mild. I mean, we're sitting at +3 right now. We're going to climb to 5 degrees, and then we're only going to fall to the 0 range overnight. That's why we could get that freezing rain. So we'll talk about that, all the details coming up in a few minutes. Traffic this morning, it's a lot busier this morning than it was yesterday morning. As you can see, it's still moving okay, though, but nothing really right there. That's our exclusive camera at right around the 403 and Waterdown Road. To some MTO traffic cameras, see if we can spot anything at Millen Road, and no, everything's moving nicely there. I saw the top of the Skyway Bridge a while ago with a lot of brake lights coming on, but it's moving okay there now, and nothing at Bronte. It's just, back to normal volume this morning. So we will look at weather. We will check traffic, of course, coming up in a few minutes. Right now, the news.
Thanks, Brian. A man is dead after being struck by a vehicle in Hamilton. Police say it happened shortly before 9 p.m. last night in the area of York Boulevard and Old Guelph Road. The 25-year-old man died in hospital after suffering serious life-threatening injuries. The driver of the Dodge Durango, which struck the pedestrian, is cooperating with police, but witnesses are asked to contact police with any information.
U.S. civil rights leader Jesse Jackson has died at the age of 84. A statement from his family says Jackson passed away this morning. Jackson stood alongside Martin Luther King Jr. in the fight for civil rights in the 1960s and was at the Lorraine Motel in Memphis, Tennessee when King was assassinated in 1968. Jackson was twice a candidate for the Democratic Party's presidential nomination in the 1980s. He was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease in 2017 and was hospitalized in November for observation.
Students in Tumbler Ridge, BC will soon return to structured classes as temporary buildings are set up following the deadly shooting in the community. Portable classrooms and washroom units are being installed at Tumbler Ridge Elementary so high school students can return to learning without having to go back to the school where the shooting took place. 5 students and a teacher's aide were killed after the 18-year-old shooter carried out the attack after killing 2 relatives at their home. Officials say support services will remain in place as the community adjusts to the loss and begins working toward restoring a sense of normalcy.
A shooting in Rhode Island has left 3 people dead, including the shooter, and 3 others injured. It happened yesterday afternoon during a game at a hockey arena in Pawtucket. Police say the shooting appeared to be related to a family dispute. The young girl is reportedly among those killed, and authorities say the gunman died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The relationship between the suspect and the victims was not immediately known. Federal authorities also responded to the scene to help local law enforcement.
Canadians continue to return home from Cuba as the island nation deals with airline fuel shortages. The ordeal has been forcing tourists to leave Cuban resorts and beaches. Cuba's vital tourism industry and economy are taking a major hit. A Cuban living in Hamilton shared her concerns with CHCH News about her family and the country's current state.
Hospital right now are closed because we don't have medicine, we don't have electricity. My big concern is people, the Cuban people is suffering. Some people has nothing to eat.
U.S. President Donald Trump has cut off oil to Cuba from countries like Venezuela. The United Nations is warning of a humanitarian collapse in Cuba because of the American blockade.
Meanwhile, the Carney government is facing mounting calls to speak out against Washington for its restrictions on fuel reaching Cuba. Both the NDP and the Bloc Québécois have urged the government to support Cuba. Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand did not say whether Canada will speak out against Washington or offer fuel or humanitarian aid, and instead said officials are focused on helping Canadians leave the country.
Prime Minister Mark Carney has named Janice Charette the new chief trade negotiator to the United States. Part of her job includes being the chief negotiator in the upcoming CUSMA trade negotiations. Charette is the former High Commissioner to the United Kingdom and a former Privy Council clerk. Her new role will see her working closely with new U.S. Ambassador Mark Wiseman and U.S. Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc.
Ukrainian and Russian delegations are meeting for another round of U.S.-brokered peace talks starting today, with the 4th anniversary of Russia's war in Ukraine approaching. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky met with 2 U.S. senators and the American ambassador in Kyiv yesterday, while the Ukrainian negotiating team prepares for meetings in Geneva today. It's the first time peace talks are being held on European soil, but a breakthrough is not expected. Zelensky says national intelligence suggests Russia is preparing more massive strikes against Ukraine's energy infrastructure, and adds that a deal will be hard to reach if the Kremlin does strike. Zelensky has said he remains unwilling to give up territory in the Donbas region, a central demand from Russia.
Post-secondary students in Ontario say the government's decision to reduce financial assistance grants will leave students with more debt. The government said last week it will decrease the proportion of grants offered through the Ontario Student Assistance Program from about 85% of funding to a maximum of 25% in the fall, making the rest student loans. The government is also lifting a 7-year tuition fee freeze to allow colleges and universities to raise fees by up to 2% per year for the next 3 years. Student union representatives say the changes are devastating for students who rely on the program's grants to pay for food, housing, and tuition, and that students are already facing an affordability crisis, and the proposed changes will make education less accessible.
Pressure is growing on the federal government to overhaul hiring laws and settle a discrimination case involving black public servants. Advocates say changes to employment equity rules are needed to address systemic barriers within the public service. Ottawa says consultations on legislative updates have finished, and officials are reviewing the input before deciding on next steps. Supporters say meaningful reform would help ensure fair treatment and rebuild trust among affected workers.
French government officials have met with a U.S.-based group that wants to move France's last 2 captive whales to a proposed coastal refuge in eastern Nova Scotia. The Whale Sanctuary Project wants to build a 40-hectare seaside pen near Wine Harbor. French officials are also considering moving the 2 orcas to a Spanish zoo on the Canary Islands. France's Minister for Ecological Transition says a final decision would be made by the end of March. Ontarians broke out the fishing rods for Family Day. Family Day weekend is the first of 4 periods this year when the provincial government lets families fish without purchasing a fishing license or outdoor card. A few dozen anglers bundled up to fish on the Niagara River, and they were busy catching some trout.
We actually have a very versatile ecosystem on the Niagara River. You can fish all year round. The trout bite a lot when it's cold because they're cold water fish.
Fishing licenses are also waived in Ontario on Mother's Day and Father's Day weekends, as well as the week around Canada Day. A typical sport fishing license costs around $26 per year.
After winning gold for the first time at the Winter Olympics on Sunday, Canada didn't have to wait long for another one. Megan Oldham of Parry Sound was the star of the women's freestyle big air competition yesterday. The 24-year-old nailed her first 2 jumps to clinch the victory, adding to the bronze medal that she had won in the slopestyle last Monday. The gold is Canada's first medal in big air since the sport was added to the Olympics in 2022. 4 years ago in Beijing, Oldham finished in 4th place, just missing out on a medal. Canada's medal count in Milan Cortina now stands at 11. The 2 gold, 4 silver and 5 bronze have Canada ranked in 13th place in the medal count. Norway remains in first with 12 gold and 28 overall medals, followed by Italy with 8 gold and the U.S. and the Netherlands with 6. The women's snowboard slopestyle final begins at 7 this morning, where Quebec City's Laurie Blouin is a medal hopeful. Canada is back at the curling rink today as Rachel Homan faces Sweden at 8:05 this morning. Brad Jacobs plays Great Britain at 1:05. Also on tap today, the women's speed skating team pursuit and the men's big air final. Brantford's Trent Michaud and Milton's Leah Pereira finished 8th in pairs figure skating yesterday, while fellow Canadians Diana Stellato-Dudek and Maxime Deschamps finished 11th.
It's taken down in the corner. Watts comes out. A far-end pass to Sophie Jakes. Poulet, a one-time shot again. Deflected. They score! Will it be MPP's goal?
It was Marie-Philippe Poulen's goal, and she would add another as Canada edged Switzerland 2-1 to reach the women's Olympic hockey final. The Canadian captain passed the great Hayley Wickenheiser with her 20th goal at the Olympics, which is the all-time record. Canada outshot the Swiss 46-7. They'll play the United States in Thursday's final, but the Americans squished the Swedes 5-0. Brantford Bulldogs picked up their 4th win in a row after knocking off Kingston 3-2 in a family day matinee. Marek Van Acker scored his OHL leading 39th goal of the season. Kayla Malhotra netted the winner early in the 3rd period. Meantime, the Niagara Ice Dogs fell 6-2 in Sudbury yesterday afternoon. Jan Hovan scored his first hat-trick in the OHL as the Wolves handed the Ice Dogs their 2nd loss in a row. As baseball spring training kicks into high gear, Blue Jays manager John Schneider says he doesn't want his team to rest on what it achieved in 2025.
The main message was we're not defending anything. We're not defending the AL East. We're not defending the American League. We're kind of attacking 2026 like we did 25 or any year really, where you're trying to win the division, you're trying to win the World Series.
Toronto opens the preseason February 21st in Dunedin, Florida. 2 of the greatest boxers to ever step into the ring have agreed to go toe-to-toe. Mike Tyson and Floyd Mayweather Jr. have reportedly agreed to fight in an exhibition match April 25th in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. The 59-year-old Tyson has a record of 50 wins, 44 by knockout, 6 losses and 2 draws, and lost his last fight by unanimous decision against Jake Paul in 2024. Mayweather, who's 48 and retired in 2017, is a perfect 50-0 with 27 KOs. In the Allen Cup Hockey League, Colton McGuire scored in overtime as Cambridge rallied past Dundas 5-4, while Stony Creek outslugged St. Catharines 8-5.
Okay, coming up to 13 minutes after 6 o'clock on this 17th morning of February, getting back at it after your Family Day weekend. Traffic, of course, is getting back to normal as well, because yesterday there was absolutely nothing. This morning, it's filling in a little bit. 403 and Waterdown Road, nothing to see there, really. Let's go to one minor problem on the QEW. There you can see the flashing lights in the distance. That's the QEW camera at Etobicoke Creek. So you're looking at Niagara-bound lanes heading away from us on that shot. Disabled vehicle, that's all it is. A blocking crew is on the scene. Otherwise, St. Catharines, QEW Niagara, you're seeing a little bit of fog there. Middleton Road, Stony Creek, there's nothing. East of Brant is already getting slow, heading toward Guelph Line. And then we'll flip ahead to the Ford plant east of Royal Windsor. Now, not a lot happening except that one disabled vehicle. Okay, let's get to our temperature. It is mild to start our morning here in February. We are plus side temperature, +3 right now. The winds are fairly light. The humidity is right up there. So we do have, with the light winds and the humidity and the temperature, we do have fog. There is a fog advisory in effect right now for Hamilton and a lot of the Horseshoe. So for school today, the fog will dissipate. We're going to get clouds. We could even get some drizzle this morning. But look at that temperature, +5. It's going to be a mild one for the day today. Now, I want to show you not only what we have, which is that receding low pressure system, but the next low approaching is going to push that warm air in. And look at the colors there. Purple is mixing precipitation, freezing rain. So we have a freezing rain warning in effect. It'll start tonight. and then continue on and off during the day tomorrow, and rain. And that rain could be heavy at times. Some areas could get 25 millimeters during the day tomorrow. But today it's just clouds and drizzle. But look at the temperatures, 4 and 5 degrees for today. Kitchener-Guelph could get some freezing drizzle. Tonight, temperature only falls to 0, +1 for Burlington. So there's that mixing precipitation possible. So that's the freezing rain with the rain settling in, just basically showers overnight. But tomorrow, it could be 10, possibly as high as 25 millimeters, but there is that chance of freezing rain. And when you get that, you can get ice buildup on surfaces. Everything becomes so slippery. We could get accretions of 4 to 8 millimeters. That's the buildup of ice on surfaces. So could be a treacherous day tomorrow. But this morning, 17th February, out the door, it is fairly foggy. The sky is cloudy. The temperature is mild at +3. And we'll check long range coming up. Simone, Rick.
Thanks, Brian. Coming up after the break, we'll say good morning to Emily Vukovic with a preview of what's to come in Chit Chat. Plus, coming up after the break, the January inflation will be released this morning. We'll take a look at what to expect. 6:17 on your Tuesday morning. We'll say good morning to Emily Vukovic. Emily, what do you have coming up in Chit Chat?
Hi, good morning. Fox is rebooting a classic show. It involves bathing suits and slow motion running.
Is it Married with Children? Oh, it's not Married with Children. Okay.
That's the only hint I'm going to give you.
Okay.
Logan Paul has set a new world record.
Okay.
And this one really surprised me. And the Simpsons are making headlines once again with a huge cameo from a show that is massive right now, from actors from a show that's huge right now.
Okay. I can't wait to talk about that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
All right, thanks, Emily. We'll talk to you in a bit. In overseas trading, the Canadian dollar is down slightly to 73.29 cents U.S. Gold is down $107 an ounce, and oil is up 37 cents to $63.25 U.S. a barrel. In midday European trading, London, Frankfurt, and Paris are all up this hour.
Asian markets were mixed today, with only Hong Kong posting gains. Canadian and American markets will once again open today after a 3-day break. The TSX closed last week up more than 600 points.
Statistics Canada is set to release its January inflation report this morning. A Reuters survey suggests the annual inflation held at 2.4% to start the year, but some economists say tax changes could push that up. RBC's assistant chief economist Nathan Jason says the rate could reach 2.6% as last year's tax holiday temporarily lowered prices. Food inflation, particularly for restaurant meals and some groceries, could climb about 7%. Today's report will give the Bank of Canada its first updated inflation snapshot since holding its key interest rate at 2.25% last month.
A new survey from BMO suggests the rising cost of living is reshaping Canadians' retirement plans. Nearly 3/4 of respondents say inflation has raised concerns about whether they'll have enough money to retire comfortably. 2/3 say higher prices are already hurting their ability to save and invest for the future. The poll also finds 3 in 10 Canadians don't know how long their savings would last once they stop working. Financial experts say inflation is a real risk to retirement savings, but staying invested and building realistic inflation assumptions into financial plans can help.
Canada's annual rate of housing starts was just over 238,000 units in January. The Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation says that's down 15% compared with December. It says the January drop more than offset the increase late last year. Actual housing starts were up 1% year over year in centres with a population of 10,000 or more.
Regulatory filings show Scotiabank's 1832 Asset Management has sold its remaining holdings in Israeli defense manufacturer Elbit Systems. The bank faced criticism for the investment, including high-profile protests in Toronto at the Giller Prize it used to sponsor because of Elbit's role in supplying military equipment for the war in Gaza. Scotiabank previously said it did not directly hold the shares and that it cannot interfere in the independent investment decisions of its portfolio managers.
Taking a break right now. Brian will be back with your traffic and your 7-day forecast.
6:24, it's Tuesday, getting back at it. Let's check traffic, see how things are going so far today. And there's nothing to really see here. QEW Ontario Street, St. Catharines, both directions doing well. Top of the Skyway Bridge, yeah, you're seeing some brake lights starting here, going down toward North Shore Boulevard. Again, pretty well normal. East of Bronte Road, no problems through Oakville, through Mississauga at Lorne Park, into the 403. West of Mavis, that's doing okay in both directions. Let's see, no. Looks like the problem at Etobicoke Creek is gone. So better conditions there through Mississauga. Okay, temperatures right now. Look how mild it is this morning. I looked at my thermometer at where I live and I was like, what? 4 degrees? 3 degrees in Hamilton right now. 3 for Grimsby, 1 Mississauga, 2 into Toronto. For seasonal temperatures this time of year still, they've been fairly consistent. -1 for the daytime high, -9 for the overnight low. So that gives you an idea how mild it is even right now. Those are our sun times and records for today. Yeah, we could get some drizzle. Drizzle is still possible this morning, even for the first bell at 9 o'clock. Temperature is sitting around 2 degrees, and then all the way to 5 for later on. Then it's going to be fairly cloudy for the day today. So long range forecast today, 5 degrees with that drizzle for the Lunar New Year today. Tonight, the temperature falls to 0. So that's dangerous as the rain settles in tonight. We could get some showers, and then some freezing rain is possible. Tomorrow, +1 for Ash Wednesday, 10 to 15 millimeters of precipitation for Hamilton, plus the risk of freezing rain for the day tomorrow. Messy day tomorrow. 2 degrees for our 25th anniversary show on Thursday. 25 years for the morning show, but fairly cloudy. And then Friday, we could get some mixing again as the temperature climbs to 3 degrees. -3 overnight on Friday night into Saturday as Rick sleeps in his vehicle overnight, and it's of course all for United Way, Halton, Hamilton, for Sleepless for Our Community, and you can go onto the United Way website and get that donation up for Rick. That'd be good. So -2 for the weekend, Sunday -2, and then -2 on Monday as well. That's your forecast. Simone, Rick.
Thanks, Brian. A zoo in France is welcoming the first new addition to its elephant family in 13 years.
Yeah, the Beauval Zoo in central France welcomed a baby elephant on Sunday after a 7-hour delivery. The zoo says the delivery was not straightforward and they weren't sure if the mother and baby would survive, but this story has a happy ending. As you can see, the baby girl came in at a healthy 330 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, that's quite healthy. The 37-year-old new mama is blind, but the zookeepers say she has been successfully helping her baby feed.
Wait, that's so beautiful.
Cute?
Oh, that's going to make me cry.
My kids were about 8 pounds when they came out of
not 330?
Not 330. That would be quite large.
That's a little bit too much.
Yeah.
But also happy to hear that mom and baby are doing well. All right, stay with us. More Morning Live to come after the break.